2020 was such a terrible year. We can use this year as a synonym for misfortune. We all know what 2020 has brought to us. It seems like year 2020 had been carrying all kind of disaster and catastrophe with it. And it looks like we are going to end with it. But at the end of the year, we had some of the good news. There are two very promising vaccines already in the market. One from Pfizer-BioNTech and another from Oxford-AstraZeneca. And these two vaccines have more than 90% effective rate. UK and USA and many other European countries already approved these two vaccines, and they have started to vaccinate and administer this vaccine to their citizens. But the vaccine is only effective when the people are willing to receive it. But in that case, it's different. Many people are not trusting these vaccines. They are concerning about its safety. They are concerning about its safety and side effects. A survey taken by ITV News shows that 67% of UK adult people are likely to take this vaccine, while on the other hand, 23% of UK adult people are not likely to take this vaccine, and 10% of these people are unsure. To give you an idea, the people who are concerned about this vaccine safety are not uninformed people. They are not anti-vaxxers people. We know that there are a lot of anti-vaxxers people. They think vaccine is dangerous for them, but this is not that kind of case. They are informed people. They have legitimate concern about the safety of this vaccine. Creating a vaccine within a year or maybe less than a year is no small feat. It is really a revolution in the pharmaceutical world. But as we know, a vaccine development takes up to 5 to 10 years. So how is that possible to create a vaccine in a such short amount of time? So they have legitimate concern about this vaccine safety. So there are a few questions rises here. How is that vaccine developed in such short amount of time? Does the Covid-19 vaccine safe? What would be the side effect of this vaccine? Is there any kind of conspiracy going on behind this vaccine development? Why are so many people are reluctant to take this vaccine? So here we are going to answer all of these questions, all of these concerns. We will also try to figure out what are the factors, what are the biggest factors that made the vaccine development so fast. Many of you may be thinking the coronavirus is a new kind of virus and it has never been existed before. But in reality, this is different. Researchers were not starting from the scratch when they first learned about SARS-CoV-2 virus. SARS-CoV-2 is a member of coronavirus family, and there are hundreds of coronavirus. According to National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, there are 100 types of coronavirus, including that 4 that causes common cold, as well as the coronavirus that sparked the SARS or severe acute respiratory syndrome epidemic in 2002, and the emergence of MERS. Dr. Eric J. Yeager, an associate professor of microbiology at Albany College, told that scientists have been working this coronavirus for 50 years. So they have the existing data on genome's DNA structure and the life cycle of this kind of virus. One of the biggest concerns for researching and developing a vaccine is funding. Without having adequate fund, scientists never can develop a vaccine. So it is very important factor to make a vaccine. In the earlier cases, it was difficult to have the adequate fund to create or develop a vaccine. But right now, there is enough fund for develop and research a vaccine. USA already invested $18 billion for researching and developing an advanced buying of these vaccines. And European Union is not far behind. They also invested billions of dollars for researching and developing this vaccine. Well, in the time of crisis, when some of the people are concerning about vaccine safety, on the other hand, there are thousands of people who are volunteered to test the vaccine on them. To give you an idea, Pfizer needs 42,000 volunteers to test the vaccine, and they already have managed to complete all the volunteers. There are no shortage of volunteers, and this is such a great work. I thank you personally, all the volunteers who risk their life to test this vaccine, who risk their life to end this pandemic. In earlier vaccine development, to have enough volunteers takes up to many of years. But in the case of COVID-19, people are very much willing to test the vaccine on them. That's why it made possible the vaccine development so fast. A vaccine development has several phases. The first phase is laboratory studies. The second phase is animal testing, which is also known as preclinical trials. And the third phase is human trials, which is also known as clinical trials. And human trials or clinical trials is also divided into three phases. In the first phase, the vaccine are given to dozens of people. The phase 1 trial focuses on the safety of vaccine candidate. Escalating doses of vaccine are given to healthy volunteers to determine the side effects and tolerability. In phase 2, vaccine are given to hundreds of people, and it may include such a health condition person like cancer, obesity and diabetes. In phase 3, vaccine are given to thousands of people to measure the efficacy of the vaccine preventing disease. In the traditional vaccine development process of clinical trials are carried out in sequence. But in the case of Covid-19, these phases are overlapped, making the vaccine development faster. Vaccine manufacturing also being carried out in parallel with the clinical trials, hoping that the trials result will succeed. Normally it takes 6 to 9 months to approve the new vaccines. But in the case of Covid-19 vaccine, the necessary data is often delivered to regulatory agencies in one go, and authorities are working as fast as possible to end this pandemic. mRNA vaccine can be manufactured faster and more cost effectively than conventional protein-based vaccines. But how do they work? To develop a coronavirus vaccine, researchers selected an mRNA that encodes the coronavirus spike protein. This protein helps the coronavirus enter a human cell. The mRNA is prepared by in vitro transcription or chemical synthesis. The mRNA is encapsulated with lipid nanoparticles. This layer protects the mRNA and raises a stronger immune responses. The final vaccine formulation is injected into the skin or muscle. Once the mRNA enters the cell, it uses the cell's translation machinery to produce the viral spike protein. The spike protein triggers the body's immune responses to produce antibodies and specialized T cells during future exposure to the coronavirus. So these are the some factors that made the vaccine development so fast and cost effective. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like our video, please make sure you subscribe, like and share our video, and see you in the next video.